Hey there, prepper+S.H.T.F here. This video is going to be a kind of a prepper's challenge. Um, what it is if you haven't watched any of my recent videos, you're probably unaware that I accepted a challenge from Adventure Canine to do a mock bug out scenario. He did one, I did a variation of that, and to my knowledge, the only other person who did was Modern Homesteader did one as well. Um, but after I did that, it kind of got me thinking about how hands-on I was staying with my prepping. And what I mean by that is, in my opinion, you can't just you can't just sit on the sofa and order things off the internet and stockpile a bunch of stuff and consider yourself prepared. I mean, you can have a whole armory of weapons, a shed full of food, and any kind of like every piece of high-end gear imaginable, and it doesn't mean that you're prepared. If you're not mentally and physically prepared as well, um, you're not going to make it. And that becomes very apparent to you once you start doing these kind of real world drills. You see what you're physically and mentally capable of. And I think that's every bit of important as it is to what kind of equipment that you have or how much food you have. Um, and when I started thinking about this, it dawned on me that it's one thing for me to constantly drill myself, see what kind of level of physically fit I am, you know. How well my gear is going to perform, all of this kind of stuff. Basically just kind of like staying on top of my game, so to speak. Um, but what I realize is if I was ever removed from the scenario, like say a hit the fan scenario, where say in the early stages of it I was killed. Um, if I was gone, how would my family, how would my loved ones, how would they fare? How would they be able to survive? Um, and if you're in my situation, um, they wouldn't fare real well because basically, I'm one of the few people out of my family that do this. Most of them think that I'm crazy, and I'm not in a situation where I have a spouse who's on board with it, that would be there in the same household to take care of my child. We're not together, and she does think I'm crazy for being a prepper, and she doesn't do any of it. So she would be one of the first people who probably wouldn't survive, which scares me because she's going to be the one, if I were gone, that would have to fill the role of protecting and caring for my child. Um, hopefully, if you are married, your spouse is a part of it. But chances are, even if she is a part of it, she's probably not as involved as what you are, which is normal. I mean, most women aren't really into this kind of thing as much as the men are. Um, but it kind of got me thinking that that was something that was important that I guess needs to be an aspect of assessing where you're at, prepared wise, is, I guess that's where my challenge comes in. I want to see, everybody sit down with whoever it is, whether it be your spouse, a sister, a neighbor, whoever it is that in your mind is going to have to fill that role, of as the person protecting and caring for your loved ones. If you were gone, if something happened to you, how well would that person be able to fulfill that role? Um, and I think the best way to do that is to sit down with that person and make a little list out, of, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to use this piece of equipment? Um, hopefully, you know what, physically wise, how capable they are there as well. Um, and I hope for your sake that whoever this person is at least willing to to work or learn um, on things that they're going to need to know. If there's something that they don't know how to do, say if it's they're not real proficient with firearms, hopefully that's something that they're willing to work on you with, or their physical fitness. Um, just different things like that. And maybe if you kind of stress to them that they're going to be the ones that are going to be responsible for taking care of your children, or somebody else that you care about if something ever happened to you. It would be the same as if, say in some unfortunate event you were killed in a car accident on your way home. I think everybody can appreciate, the fact that, that's why people have life insurance. If something happened to you as a primary caregiver or one of the primary caregivers, if they're gone, what's going to happen to the rest of the family? How are they going to, be able to carry on after that? So I think if you kind of put it in that kind of a context, they're going to understand, the value in knowing what you know, being able to perform the things that you can perform. Um, and one thing that I did, or at least I had to resort to do, is if you're not in that kind of situation, is find other people, like-minded people, other preppers, or someone who is willing to do that, and come up with a game plan of how they can either link up with your family to help take care of them, or that your family can link up with that prepper or that individual. So that's what I did. Is I put a list together of 20 preppers that are located in various positions around my state of Ohio, and routes, and general information, um, of how she, my daughter's mother, could hopefully get to one of these people. And I put that in a little book. So, since she refuses to do any of this kind of, preparing or any of that, she thinks it's ridiculous. This is all she has to have, to hopefully at least just link up with one of these people, and she's going to have a whole lot better chance of surviving, and so will my child. Um, I know it's not much, but if I'm gone, I can't do anything about it. So hopefully maybe this will, ensure that they're able to survive something like that. Um, but that's my challenge. It's not really much of a physical challenge, as it is, a mental one. Um, but what I would like to see is your response video to it. If you accept this challenge, after you have a chance to sit down and speak with your spouse or whoever it is that is going to be filling that role if you're gone, after you have an opportunity to speak with them about it, talk about some things, and you get a better idea of where you're at, or where I should say where they're at, prepared wise. Um, do a response video, and I'd like to know what you found out, um, and kind of talk about things that you see where you need to work on, um, and hopefully you find out that you're better prepared than what you thought, or they know more than what you thought they did. Um, but there it is. There's the challenge. I think there's a lot of value in that. Hopefully I see a lot of people do response videos on it. Um, if you have any kind of questions for me or anything, or comments, please feel free to leave them. I really would like to get some feedback on this. um, but anyways, thanks for watching, as always. I hope I see a lot of people taking this up. And good luck to you. Prepper Marine 81 out.